I want to give 4 new advanced time blocking tips. So you'll see in my planners, I have this big long introduction in the beginning that explains time blocking and has some tips. I'm adding 4 to it. All right, number 1, pre-block important or timely work on your calendar. So what happens with time block planning is when you make your time block plan for the day, you look at your weekly plan, you look at your calendar, because you're going to transfer from your calendar any meetings or appointments you have onto your time block plan. What I suggest is if something is timely or important, once you know about this thing on your radar, consider going ahead in your calendar and actually adding non-appointment, non-meeting blocks onto your calendar for when you're going to get that work done. It's right now, for example, I'm reviewing copy edits for my upcoming book, Slow Productivity. It's very important and very timely. I have a very short amount of time to turn these around. So what I did is when I knew what date these were coming back, I actually went in advance and took 3 big blocks of time and just scheduled it on my calendar like a meeting. And now when I got to those days, I just transfer that work over to my time block plan for the day. So pre-blocking time, once you're in a time block discipline mindset, pre-blocking time is a great way to make sure that you don't, for example, over-clutter your schedule in times when a lot is due. All right,
so that's a little different than autopilot, right?
It's different than autopilot, which is a good question. Autopilot is your pre-scheduling work that occurs on a regular basis.
Right.
So if you know I always have to file a report on the last Friday of the month, you can figure out when and how you do that work and just set that repeating on your calendar into perpetuity. With pre-blocking, it's for one-off projects.
Got it.
So you're not finding a regular time to work on copy editing because it only happens once every few years, but you know that's really important and it's going to have a short turnaround. So you go protect that time in advance. And then because you time block, you know when you get there, that'll be safe. All right. Second tip, time block relaxation into your workday. Right. So at first you might just be putting in a half-hour break. It's in your time block plan. And when you get there, you know, okay, I'm going to just completely turn off work. But once you're in the habit of time blocking relaxation, you'll tend to get more aggressive about this. Because see, this is the advantage of time blocking from a sustainability point of view. A critique, which I think is flawed of this approach, is that people say, well, this is all about just optimizing every minute of your day. But time blocking can actually help you much better do the opposite. Once you're in the habit of, I put breaks into my day, and you have control over your time. Now, as your workload gets under control, you can get more aggressive about that. And you can say things like, you know what, on Wednesday, I'm going to make very efficient use of the morning and then block off 3.5 hours to go see Oppenheimer in the afternoon. You can now do that with confidence because you're controlling all of your time. So when you can control your time, not only can you get more work into your time, into your day, you can also get more relaxation in the day without it causing trouble. So just introduce the habit of many days during the week, I put little breaks into it. Once you have that habit, as you get to periods where your workload's a little less, you can lean into completely guilt-free, unnoticeable, larger breaks. And that type of variation of work pacing is something that's going to make work much more sustainable. So you're not just trying to fit in work. Use time blocks to also fit in relaxation. Because you can trust that relaxation is fine, it's scheduled, you know when the other work's going to happen, nothing bad's going to happen if you turn off for a while. All right, another advanced tip is when doing admin blocks. So I'm a big believer of admin blocks. I talk about this in the introductory material of the time block planner. For tasks, you want to have one block in which you execute multiple things. Consolidate tasks, right? That's standard time blocking. What I've been experimenting with recently is having smaller admin blocks, theming the admin work by cognitive context. So what I mean by that is if you have 5 different tasks to do that are all related to different projects or different types of work, it can be more difficult than you think to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and execute those. And the reason why it's difficult is because as you switch from one task type to another, your brain has to switch its cognitive context. Oh, we're thinking about this type of project. Now we have to think about like my kid's little league and some social event. Well, that's a completely different type of context. And you will notice the difficulty of this context switching. You will notice it subjectively as a feeling of resistance, of mental fatigue. So if you instead theme tasks so they're in the same cognitive context, what you'll realize is you get through them much faster. So if I'm doing 4 things related to social planning for the family, those 4 things, if I do them one in a row, is going to go much more smoother, because once I switch into that context, now I can do the 3, 4, 5 other tasks, and it's going to come without that subjective resistance. And then maybe I have another small block later with a bunch of things surrounding a particular type of project I'm doing for work. Oh, I have a lot of things surrounding a conference I'm organizing. Let me put a 20-minute block over here where I'm just going through a bunch of those in a row. So shorter blocks of themed admin tasks is way more comfortable than having bigger blocks where you mix together different types of admin tasks. This is why the single hardest batched admin task that most people do on a regular basis is cleaning their email inbox. Because if you're just going through your inbox one by one, why is that so hard? Because you are switching context from message to message. So even your email inbox, you can break out into themes and say, okay, during this admin block, I'm doing some family related tasks and I'm responding to all emails related to family related tasks. And then later in the day, when I'm doing tasks that are just related to this conference I'm organizing, I will then go through my inbox and handle all the emails related to that conference. And what you're going to find is those encounters with your inbox are going to go so much more smoothly, because you are not behind the scenes trying to keep switching your cognitive context. All right, my 4th bit of advanced time blocking advice is whenever you put a meeting of any significant length or complexity onto your time block plan, add a short block after it for just post-mortem, organizing what you learned, making a plan for what to handle, getting the information from that meeting into your systems. Never let a interaction-based time block be immediately followed by another time block focused on something different. You have to close down the work of meetings. You need 15 to 30 minutes to do this. Okay, the meeting is over, but I have 15 to 30 protected minutes to go transform my notes into tasks and to put reminders on the calendars. And if there's follow-up emails, let me just do them right now. Now I can completely shut down that thing. I don't have a ton of open loops hanging in my head as I jump from this meeting to the next. I don't have a ton of open loops in my head as I jump from this meeting right into trying to do deep work. So that should just be instinct. When you write a meeting time block, that you put another block under it, and you can even I'll sometimes just shade it in. This little shaded in block under each of my meetings, and that's the catch your breath, process everything that just happened in that meeting. Again, it's going to make the whole day go smoother. That extra 15 or 20 minutes after every meeting makes the whole rest of the day actually make sense.